Hi, it's been a busy day so far. We've been out in this cold weather. We went to the vet this morning with Chloe and we stayed outside for quite a while and it's chilly. It's supposed to get even worse this afternoon, and what we wanted to do is make something that's going to be nice and warm for us tonight. Let me turn down the fire. What I've done is started off with 2 sticks of butter and 1 cup of flour. And I'm going to make a blonde roux. And it's already going. I started it before I started filming. We already have our other ingredients ready to go. We've got onion, we've got celery, and we've got carrot. So we're gonna have about a cup of onion. We're gonna make a large batch of this crab and corn soup because we've gotten requests from down in the woodlands for this delicious treat. So we've got this blonde roux almost happening. Remember, with a blonde roux, you're not going to take it as dark as we did with the roux for the gumbo. The gumbo roux is really a dark roux. And with this, I use butter. I want the richness. This is not for the faint of heart, so I don't recommend this if you're on a restricted diet. This is one of those special things, one of those special treats. My mother called me the other day and she said, do you ever make this? And I said, yeah, Mom, but I don't bring it to you because I know you don't like fatty stuff. She goes, I really want it. So anyway, we are doing this as a special treat today. My roux is almost ready. What I'm gonna do to start to stop the roux rather, is I'm gonna start adding those vegetables here in a second. And I'm gonna turn up the heat just a tiny bit more. And you know, with any type of roux, you don't just leave it on the stove. You've gotta make sure that you're watching it the entire time. I'm going to go ahead and start adding the onions to this. I've diced up my onions pretty small. Since this is going to be, it's not going to be a bisque. A bisque is nice and light and silky and creamy and smooth. This is going to be a little more chunky. So it is a corn and crab soup and not a corn and crab bisque. So I've got this going. I'm going to cook the onions down a little bit. And then I am going to add, instead of the Holy Trinity, I'm going to add celery, which is part of the 3, but I'm going to add carrots. So I've got this going here. And then let's go ahead and add the celery. And this is about 3 stalks of celery, maybe a little bit more. There we go. That aroma is already starting to kick up in the kitchen. Got this going. And then I'm going to add, I process this in my food processor. I want it not chunky, but I want it really chopped up. So I'm gonna add this. This is my carrot. And I don't add the bell pepper. Remember, we talked about the Trinity. The Trinity is part of the bell pepper, and when part of the bell pepper is part of the Trinity. We're not adding bell pepper to this today. So we're gonna cook this. I'm gonna stop the video right now, and then I'll get back with you. We've had our mixture with our flour, butter, onions, celery, and carrot in here now for about 5 minutes. I've got a can of evaporated milk heating up in this pot next to it. I have over here 2 cups of seafood stock, and I really like the Penzeys seafood stock. I order it on, seafood base rather, I order it online and it keeps for quite a while in the refrigerator. You mix it with water and you add it into your soups and stews. I really don't have time to make a seafood stock right now. So what I want to do is make sure that I have that extra flavor boost. And Penzeys has a very good quality seafood base. Also, I've got a little bit of Louisiana crab oil. I am only going to put a tiny bit in there. I don't want to overwhelm everybody. Mom gets a little wild when I put too much seasoning in. I've got some very nice crab meat. This is the white lump. I don't add that until the end because if I do, I'm going to lose all the lumps. It's just going to dissolve in there. I also have some more crab meat that's not as premium as the other crab meat that I have. So I'll add that in a little bit before. I have 3 cups of corn. This is just a frozen kernel corn. I have salt, I have cayenne pepper, I have half and half, and heavy cream. So we're about ready to get this going. And I would say probably about 8 to 10 minutes this should cook. And it's about on medium heat. The first thing I'm going to add will be the shrimp stock, the seafood stock. So we have this right here. We're going to slowly add it in, incorporate that in. And we're going to make sure that we try to smooth out some of the lumps. So we'll get a little bit in, stir it up. Oh, it smells so wonderful. When I used to cook in the restaurant with Miss Frances years ago, she was the one that taught me the basics of how to make soups. And I'll never forget us cooking over a stove for hours on end. She was wonderful. I miss Miss Frances, and I miss all the things that I could learn from her. She was wonderful. Okay, so we've incorporated all that, gotten the bits out. I try to dissolve that base. You don't want chunks of base winding up in the soup. Okay, so see my consistency now. We're going to add that. We're going to add a half teaspoon of the crab oil. And I've seen recipes that call for more. I'd rather start off with less and then be able to increase. I don't want anybody to be overwhelmed by what we put in here. Now we're going to add the warmed milk. And we're going to put that right in there. Make sure that fire is off, and let's stir that in. Beautiful. I know you can see it. You can't see it perfectly. I need a small drone for these videos. All right. Now this is very thick at this point in time. And we're going to turn the fire down. And we continue to stir. Make sure that fire is not too hot. We don't want it to stick to the pan, to the pot rather. And I grew bay leaf. I had a bay tree at one of my other homes. Love doing it. I'm going to plant one up here. It lives. It doesn't die in the freezes. It's wonderful. You save the leaves. You can decorate with them, but bay leaf really adds to this. So we're going to have two. We're going to add 2 bay leaves. Remember, at the end of the cooking, take it out. Somebody might get a hold of it, and you don't want that. We're going to go ahead and add the corn at this point in time. So this is 3 cups of corn. And we'll just add that in and stir that up. Make sure your corn is defrosted before you add it in. All right, we've got a very thick soup right now. I believe I'm going to add a little bit more water to it. So I'm going to add about a cup of water and continue to mix this up. There we go. It is very thick. As I said, we're not going to add the crab meat until near the end. So you may not even get to see that until way later. So it's a beautiful mixture right now. I'm going to take some half and half. And we'll use the heavy cream to finish it off, but right now we'll use the half and half to cook. So I'm going to take about 1 1/4 cups of half and half and slowly incorporate that. Beautiful. And I think because of the amount that I'm making, I may add another 1 1/2 cups of stock. And I will do that during the time that I turn this video off. Also, on the back side, I've got some fresh parsley chopped up, and I'll use that to garnish and finish it off. But right now, we're going to let this simmer. And as I said, I'm going to add about 1 1/2 cups, maybe, yeah, about 1 1/2 cups more of stock. And we're just going to let it simmer for about 30-40 minutes. So we'll see it on the end. during the time we were gone, I added the 2 bay leaves, I added some salt, I added the cayenne pepper. I also ran out into the garden and got some green onion. And I chopped the green onion up because we're also going to add that toward the end. Right now, and I added some stock too. I added another 2 cups of stock because it was very, very thick. You'll have to gauge this. It just depends how you like your soups, if you like them very thick or thinner. But anyway, here's what we're looking like. We've been simmering about 30 to 40 minutes on low with it uncovered, not covered. We are going to slowly add 2 cups of heavy cream to this, and we are going to allow this to cook a little bit longer, to simmer a little bit longer. Then, after about 5 or 10 minutes, you will start adding your crab meat. Right now, I'm just going to add one of the crab meats, and this is the one that I said wasn't really the real premium chunk crab meat. We're going to add this in. When I add it in, I'm going to break it apart a little bit, and then sort of fold it in. I don't want to lose the texture of the crab meat. You know how I like texture in my food. I don't want to lose the texture. The corn does give it good texture also though. So we've got this added. And then of course we would add our other crab meat. Let's get this folded in here. We would add the other crab meat and we would cook this for about 5 minutes. Finish it off, add your parsley, add a little bit of green onion right before you finish it. So it simmers another 5 to 10 minutes. Ladle it into some big soup bowls and enjoy with some great garlic bread, some focaccia, whatever you'd like, but it's a nice, nice warm soup to have on a cold evening like tonight. So anyway, shoot me a message on my food blog or my Facebook page if you have any questions, and we'll answer them. Thank you for stopping by.